Good morning, YouTube. It's Wolf here again, another more video. And today I would like to talk about Siege War defenses. Just something that I feel like needs to be covered at some point. All these are going to be based on like personal preferences and what I feel like are just common things that everyone should be looking for when they're making their defenses, and so on and so on. So let's go ahead and go to the siege. Okay. So one of the nice things that COM2 has finally added into the Siege Wars event stuff was they now let you keep track of your wins and losses on your teams, which is extremely helpful. That way you know if something's doing good or something's doing bad, where you need to make changes and all of that kind of stuff. Now I've got quite a few teams set up just to kind of show the do's and don'ts, and then what you can also work around. So I guess let's get into it. Alright, so one of the first ones I want to talk about is the three major things you're going to run to in defense-wise Siege Wars. The three most commonly used teams that you're probably going to see are Lucian teams, Copper Bulldozer, probably Galleon Cleave teams, and then there's just going to be some teams that are Bruiser based that try to outstall your defense and just whittle it down if you're not running a healer or any type of way to survive on your own. So we'll get into, I guess, the don'ts first. One thing you don't want to do in Siege War is run a pure type defense. It's probably one of the most easiest things to counter because, say you have all fire, all they gotta do is bring pure water, or they could bring 2 water and like a wind tank. So with this right here, I could easily bring 2 water monsters and Ramagos. Heck, Ramagos can almost solo it if he wanted to, as long as, I guess, the Rika didn't get like a lucky despair stun or just a stun on her first skill in general. Another thing is to look out for is you can stall, but if you don't have the potential of killing them and they bring something that can kill you, then you're stalling for I guess a few points of Siege War, but that's not really going to add up to anything if they do beat you anyways. So you want to make sure that your team has kill potential, can't be Lucianed, can't be Copper Bulldozer, can't be Galleoned, and I understand that not every defense can do that, because every defense in the game can be beaten with something. But I guess the best thing to do to go about it is to at least answer 2 of those problems, and to kind of help prevent that. And most of the time, just go based off your logs. If the team's doing good, keep it. It's working, so let it do its thing. The only time I see that you should switch out your defenses is if it's obviously you have more losses than wins. So that clearly means that the team's not working and that you need to make changes somewhere. So, let's see here. Lucian comps, I think the easiest way to answer them is just like heavy bruiser teams seem to answer Lucians really well because they can only bring 1, and if he kills nothing in the first amp, the team's probably done, especially if all 3 of yours are alive and you have something that heals 2. Which is kind of like this double werewolf comp. Raccoon's going to take like no damage from Lucian, and the other 2 have so much HP that they're just going to take anything that he gives. And then you have Raccoon who heals every time he goes, and then you have Jolt or Escher also who has an AoE heal. So it's just going to start pick him back up, and then, I mean, Jolton could probably almost kill Lucian with just his passive, so that's one way to do it. This team, Copper Bulldozer-wise, if you're Raccoony, he shouldn't be worried about Copper, but Bulldozer, depending on how much HP you're running, could probably one-shot him. Jolton, I think, is the only one out of the three that can actually take either Thunderstrike or Bulldozer's double hit and live through it, unless they're sitting there and they kind of like whittle him down. But the thing about this team is it's also got a stripper on it, so if their Messity goes, they might be able to take out one unit, but if they don't take out Escher or Jolton and they get to go, Escher's going to strip somebody, which is going to completely just null their damage in general. Or Jolton will go and he can armor break one of them, and that just destroys their damage in general. Or if they don't kill anything, Raccoony will start picking them up, and then it goes downhill because that team has no survivability at all. It's a one-hit go. Galleon teams, maybe if Raccoony doesn't cut anybody, they might be able to kill something right away, but if they don't, then, I mean, that's going to struggle yet again. Something I would like to do with these guys is I would like to either have them on an offset of Nemesis, or, I mean, if you just have the team on full, if everyone's on Will, I mean, that completely negates a Galleon team right then and there. Because unless they can do more than 40,000 at pot shot with no armor break, then they're going to live. So there's one example of kind of an answer to all those types of teams. Another one is, see, Net 5 towers take a little bit different toll because obviously you're adding in Net 5s, so you have more things to worry about. Normally when you're doing a defense, you want 2 threatening things and a support. This team that I'm running, it's got the support for Eladriel, who can revive either one of the other two if they die. He's got strip on his spam, and he's got a heal. Ritesh is almost the exact same way, but he's more of a bruiser because he can do more damage output than Eladriel can. And then Theo, everybody knows Theo. He's just the OP broken monster in general, which has no attribute loss, so they could bring full fire to this, but they're taking the risk of Theo just going through the entire team. They could bring full wind to this, but yet Eladriel and Ritesh aren't going to have a problem dealing with this wind either. So it's got quite, I mean, they could easily outspeed you. I mean, I want to say you could almost Ramagos this, but I could see where it could go downhill if they're packing more HP than Ramagos can do back. It cannot be Reynad, so I don't think that would work out in anyone's favor because there's heals and there's a lot of damage output going out. Now, this team right here is kind of like a trap team I got going on because the entire team is just extremely fast, and it's not something you normally see when doing this, so it surprises people. Where is it? It's 5 and 4, so it's not bad. It's got strips, buffs, CC. The only thing it's not running is heals, but that's fine because the point of this team is to go first and just automatically just take something out right away. Now the counter to this is obviously a tanky bruiser team could probably easily survive this. If there's teams like if they're running like a Galleon lead or any 24% speed lead that's in Guild Wars, they probably can outspeed it. But then they're burning those teams on this kind of team, which leaves if they're having to waste good stuff on early teams, then that's good. Because then your other teams down the road for the rest of your guildmates don't have to worry about this stuff because they don't have access. Unless they've got multiple of them, since you can do that in Siege War. But with Siege War, unlike Guild Wars, once you use a unit, you don't get to use it anymore. So if you can rack up those defense wins, I mean, you're doing your job, so. But like I said, you just want to try and answer those main 3, and then outside of that, you kind of just go with what you got. Because not everyone's got the same units, not everyone's running on the same runes, towers, all that stuff. You kind of just got to work with what you got. Now, I know when people are doing Siege War defenses, they're like, I got to make 10 teams, blah, blah, blah. That's not true. Just offer what you can, the best you can. It doesn't matter if you're running 3 teams, as long as it's your 3 best teams. That's what matters the most, because if you've got 10 teams and your good stuff's all spread out, then you just have 10 mediocre teams when you could have 3 really good teams, and it worked just fine. Because there's a high chance that not all 10 of your teams are even going to be used in the Siege War unless you're just completely dominating the field. So there's also that to take into consideration. I'd say the #1 teams for Siege Wars right now are probably bruiser teams that can withstand a DPS team in the first go-around and then just sustain through it. Seems to be the issue right now for most things, especially later on in Guild War or Siege Wars after people have done their attacks. It becomes harder and harder to start taking down tankier teams because they don't have the answers anymore because they've already used the good monsters. But then you got the freaks out there who just have ridiculous amounts of monsters and can just answer whatever they want, and you just got to get lucky with your defense on like violent procs, despair procs, stuff like that. I think trap teams are pretty funny to do. Like this one, it's like it looks really, really mediocre, but I think it's done pretty good. Where is it? Yeah, there it is. 5 and 2. I think when most people go into it, they're like, oh yeah, I'll just easily Lucian this one. Well, Rago can't take more than 20% of his HP in one shot. Darian's going to reduce the other 2 damage that they take by 20% with his new buff. And Kona's running double HP, so if everyone lives and Kona gets to go, he heals, he could resurge Darian. Darian could revenge. Rago could revenge. I could stun Aura Break, the Lucian off turn, and then just kill him on their preceding turn, and then they no longer have any damage, and Kona's automatically starting to heal up everybody. Copper Bulldozer-wise, I think it can still be Copper Bulldozer. The only one who really can't is Grago. If I had mine on Vampire, he could probably solo most things, but I just don't have the Vampire runs to put on him right now. Let's see here. What else is there? I think Nat 5 teams are probably the most used ones. I much myself prefer Nat 4 towers because I find that they're more entertaining and harder to deal with and do in the long run. Since I'm using my Orion with this team, I had to kind of create something because I normally run the Ciara Perna Orion team just because it's an overused team, but it does the job right because it's got 2 damage dealers and an annoying little prick who likes to ruin everyone's game plans when they go into it with his harmless pranks. I've been running him on my Kamoon team in my Nat 4 tower just because I feel like I've started noticing that the Kamoon, Chasun, Theo teams are becoming a lot easier to answer since they've been out for so long now, just like the Ciara Perna Orion ones. So, I mean, you kind of got to adapt to new things as time goes by, try new stuff, and like I said, you can keep track of if stuff's doing good or bad. If it's doing bad, change it up. See, you might need to it might be good just to take something out. You put something in place of something. Or, I mean, you could just put a team together, try it out. First Siege War, see how it does. If it doesn't do good, then you know not to use it for the next Siege War. You can get your guildies advice, see what they think. One thing I wish Comptos would introduce is like a guildy testing area to where you can kind of duel your teammates Guild War style, so you can test out teams and see how they do. Because it would be nice to battle a guildmate, you put the team up, they put what they're going to bring up, and then you start the battle and just hit auto, because it's how the AI is going to be doing it anyways. And see how the team performs from there, and if it does good, then, well, obviously, then you would want to try that team out. If it doesn't, then you know you need to change up some things, and they can give you some insight on what's going on. So that's something I wish they would add. Plus replays. Replays would be awesome to see. Now, okay, so I do have a arena team. This is a pure, like, stally, tanky team. The thing about this one is if you can't kill Arena, then you're stuck forever with her, and that can normally make people, because there's no draws in Siege War, so you just lose. She can cause that. Ramagos, if you do not kill him, Clean Shot will take something most of the time. And then I just built the Fire Werewolf in the thought of, since he's like Chow, I mean, every time he goes, he's going to heal 10% of his HP. And on Violent, that could go like 30 to 40% depending on how many times he goes. He can stun, he can heal block. Arena's heals on him are 100% more, so that's even better. So it's just a really stall team with kill potential through Ramagos. Now, once Ramagos is gone, it just becomes a stall war. And if they don't bring heals, then eventually Arena or the Werewolf will whittle them down to where they die. So that's one of the few tanky teams. I've seen a couple pure holy ones work out pretty well. Like last few Siege Wars, we've seen a couple Molly teams with Darien, and either Escher or Grago, and they've done extremely well in defense and gave our guild quite a bit of a nuisance. Let's see here. What else is there for Siege War defenses? Main thing is don't run pure type teams outside of Light and Dark because they're just so easily countered. And when building a team, kind of look at your mixture of stuff that you got going on, like what you're wanting them to do, how you want the team to coincide together. Like with this one that I'm trying out, hopefully my Gemini goes first, does the AoE strip, armor break, and whatever he doesn't take, Okeanos is going to follow up behind him with AoE stun, or he could strip a target and reset their cooldowns, and then Ciara is Ciara and will just bomb, hopefully, whatever needs to be bombed, and finish it off with whatever Okeanos doesn't kill. So that's my idea behind that team. That's just the idea behind any team that you do. Look at the monsters that you're using. See how they function together. Try to keep their speed as close as possible with a team like this, because if they get cut, it can kind of throw off the entire sync of the team, and that can normally easily lead to a loss. Yeah, so I think that covers about everything in Siege. Let's see here. I didn't really get to use this team. I just did it mostly because the dragon looks amazing, and it's got Pern on it, Chasun, so it just looks annoying. But I'm pretty sure it'd be Copper Bulldozer pull, maybe. I don't think Copper could get past the Varad defense, so he wouldn't ignore there. He could kill the Chasun though, and Bulldozer could he could take the first life of Perna, but I think with Varad and him, they wouldn't be able to get too many turns, especially with Perna healing. Lucian-wise, that team could easily take one Lucian amp. Varad might die, but the other two should live. A Galleon Cleave team could probably easily do it, since none of them are on Will. Just as soon as on Nemesis, so yeah, I see where that could be bad. I mean, Tessarion could easily take out Perna. It was mostly just a test team in case we were just kind of running over, but I didn't ever get a chance to use it, so I can't honestly say if it would have done good or bad. There's no strip on it, which is bad, because normally Strip is nice to have on your defense teams, because in case they're running full wheel, or they bring like a Chloe to against you, or a Beta. But yeah, that is about all I can think of to talk about Siege for now. If there's anything that anybody can bring up in the comments that I didn't cover, then I can talk about that in like another video or something. Hopefully I'll get to show a Siege War video next week and not have to work at the same time while doing it, so... But yeah, so that's my take on Siege Wars. My team's worked out okay for me so far, and I think that as long as you kind of get insight from your guildies, pay attention to your wins and losses, and just adjust accordingly. Runes are going to be key. Speed is key. Speed's always key. And yeah. Don't take things too seriously. Try to have fun with the game, because it's a game. That's what we're supposed to be doing, having fun. I love trying out weird teams, because normally it can throw people off, and they're just like, wow, that actually worked. Which is why I think the Tyrone, Lisa, Wind Barbaric King team works so well, is because they're just like, holy crap, that team was extremely fast and it killed someone right off the bat. It's like, yeah, they weren't expecting that, because most Tyrones you see nowadays are built on Despair. Mine's on Swift damage build, so he's just going straight for it. Oh, but yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to really cover today in this video. Thank you for listening to me rant on and probably bore you to death. But I just felt like it was something that I wanted to do. Hopefully some of my guildies watch it and they kind of get an idea of how to do some things, because it's hard to go through everyone's monsters and help them build teams and whatnot. I kind of just want to give them a general idea of what to do and how to do it and what to look for when they're building their teams, just so they can succeed better, because you always want your guildies to do better, because if you guys are doing better, then your guild's doing better and everyone's happy in Siege, and that's what matters. So yeah, thank you for listening to me, and I will see you next time.